Hey everybody, it's Jonathan. In this video, I am going to go over how I think that the coronavirus pandemic is going to impact small businesses across our country. And again, I studied economics in college. I've been doing lending for the last 12 years, and I have a really good sense of what I feel is going to happen. All right, so first off, you're already starting to see some changes in the marketplace, right, from a financing side. Second, and I'll go into those changes in a minute. Second, what you're seeing a lot of is a lot of retail, a lot of restaurants, a lot of travel, and a lot of places that depend on foot traffic. Foot traffic is getting reduced, right? People aren't buying the products that they don't essentially need. Right, you're seeing a lot of people run to Costco. You're seeing a lot of people go to these big brand chains for food, right? And obviously toilet paper. It's not a joke, but I mean toilet paper. But they're not spending money elsewhere. A lot of restaurants are really hurting. Travel is really probably not getting booked right now. So that's going to have a big trickle-down effect, and you're going to see that. I want to get into what Trump said not too long ago, a couple days ago, about pledging $50 billion to the SBA. We do SBA loans at Sprout, and that hasn't trickled down yet, right? That could take a few weeks at best and a few months, worst case scenario. And your people are going to have to prove how it impacted them, which won't be too hard, because I do think this is going to have an impact. And let me just go out there and state, I'm not a doctor. I don't think that, I'm not going to give you advice on how serious this is or not. I can tell you that the media is blowing this up, and that's all you're seeing. You're seeing the pro leagues get canceled. When you see the pro leagues get canceled, all of a sudden it becomes real for people when it's that and it's all over the media. And even if it didn't have that much of an impact, it's going to, because of how people are reacting to it. So what you have to do is adapt and improvise in order to overcome this, right? So let's talk about those steps in a second. I'm seeing from a lender standpoint, so everyone understands, that lines of credit, working capital advances are requiring a month-to-date business bank statement up front. That's new. That's definitely new, and people are worried, lenders are worried, underwriters are worried that what's going to happen is these businesses are going to be impacted and they're not going to be able to make it out. The businesses that get impacted, you have to think about it this way. They're going to cut staff, okay? That's less people that are going to be spending money. They're going to go under. Well, now that's even less people spending money. And this is going to have a dramatic impact on all levels of the economy, right? You're kind of seeing it in the market. The market is down 20% off peak. You're in bear market territory. You're seeing vicious spikes up like we did this past Friday. And when you see that, that's indicative of a bear market, right? So liquidity is kind of locking up. How do you counteract that? And what are the steps to take to protect your business and protect yourself? Well, if you have lines of credit, I would certainly suggest pulling all of those. If you don't have them, that's fine. You can reach out. I'm happy to help. This isn't a marketing video. I really do care about businesses, and I want to make sure the business owners are okay. And even if it's not with Sprout, it could be anybody, right? It's just make sure it's done right. So what are the programs that can help people, especially in industries that are being heavily watched? And the industries that are being heavily watched are travel, logistics, restaurant, retail. So what I would tell you is there are other ways to get financing besides working capital advances and lines of credit. What can you do? You can do personal loans if your business is, if your credit is over 650 and you have provable income. You do collateral-backed financing, and you can do SBA loans. SBA loans take a little bit longer, but really those are the options for business owners moving forward that are in those restricted industries. Best case scenario, you have a line of credit set up, you pull that entire line of credit just as a safety net, as a precaution if things do get bad. I've heard a lot of discussion around, well, they'll do a self-quarantine for 2 weeks, across the whole country. Well, that's really going to have a negative impact on small business, right? And if you don't own a small business, buy local, right? Help out your favorite restaurant. Obviously take precautions, but help out your favorite restaurant, right? These are some of the things that I'm seeing today, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because I really do care about small business. I've seen, tons and tons of businesses over my career. I've analyzed them all. I've consulted for lenders, so I understand both sides of this equation. I understand what they're looking at, and I totally get how this can impact small business owners. Again, this isn't to spread fear, right? I think the media did a great job of doing that, unfortunately, and now you're seeing the reaction to that. So what I would tell you is, if you guys have lines of credit, make sure that you draw them. Worst case, if this really isn't that bad, great. Pay it all back in a month or two. If you don't have lines of credit, work with somebody, hopefully us. It doesn't have to be us, but make sure that they're getting you into the right types of programs, because if you don't have access to cash and you need it, it's gonna really impact your business. All right. If you guys have questions, feel free to drop them on this video. Respond to them or email us. I'm pretty easy to reach. I'm all over, so I'm easy to get in contact with. All right, I hope this video helps you, and I hope you're really not impacted by this.